So there's a famous conversation that you and the band had. I say 91. Like when the word slam first came up.
Right.
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 How did that conversation go?
Okay, so makes me a little sad because I think of Billy. Mm-hmm. We used to practice in a place in a town called Huntington, and we finished practice and we went out for hamburgers to like this diner, and we're sitting around talking. We're like, so I'm a marketing guy. At the time, I was a creative director at an ad agency. Like, that's what I do.
Yeah, because you got out of school in 90, then you got the job at 93, correct? Is that a...
No, I got my job my first job I was working at an ad agency by 92.
Okay.
So I was an assistant creative director. So I would write, I'd write copy and design print ads and stuff for corporate clients and all that. So I was talking about marketing the band and what we should do. And we were using the word mosh, right? We used it a lot. We would say barbaric moshing, death vomit, this, that, all that.
Sure.
Because that's our music. We stripped away, most of the blast beats. Mm-hmm. We stripped away a lot of the speed, and we said every song has to be groovy all the time, nonstop. Even the fast parts, your head has to go like this. We're not going to play, no ping pong.
I love your jokes. Like, it's like you don't want the song to sound like a fucking ping pong machine.
Right.
Like you're stuck in a ping pong machine.
Right.
It's funny.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but I got it. I was like, it's funny.
Yeah, no, I don't want, we didn't want that. Listen, I have nothing against it, but that's not what we wanted. I wanted all the time, nonstop, just no wasted space, no filler, no wasted space, groove constantly. So anyway, we're talking about mosh, and Billy got mad, and he's like, you know what? I can't stand Anthrax. And they use the word mosh, and it's like a joke. And we can't. We're a fucking slam band. That's what we do. And that's where it was born. I was like, holy shit, that's right. I'm like, that's a hardcore term.
Yeah.
I'm like, I used that term in the 80s when I was going to Black Flag shows. Nobody said mosh. Everybody said fucking slam. I'm like,
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Slam dance. It got cut. It was slam dance, but it got cut to slam, And I was like, Billy, that's brilliant. Let's do that. So Billy came up with it, and we're like, full steam ahead. That's it. We're slam. And then from then on, I think you pulled up an ad that said total fucking slam.
Yeah. We had the actual flyer that.
Right. So that was everything said slam this, slam that, blah,
total
blah, blah.
fucking slam, dude.
Right.
When was this flyer made?
That was that's for perpetual degradation. So that's probably a flyer from 93.
Wow.
Late 93, middle 93. No, that's actually 94 because the thing came out. So that's from 94.
Incredible.
So, people say, talk about, this band invented slam, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever, dude. Mm-hmm. I'm like, as we call Internal Bleeding was calling it slam before anybody even thought of the word to use as applied to death metal.
Sure.
I'm not saying we invented some kind of great thing, but we came up with the term. We pushed the term. There was also a band called the Demonicy in New Jersey that used the term, but they didn't push it as hard as us. I guess we were more aggressive as far as pushing that word into people's faces.
That New York aggression.
Right. And just constantly doing it, and it didn't turn into it never caught. I don't think it ever caught on until then I started noticing, I don't know, 5 years later, people started using the word slam. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. That's our word.
Wow.
It was funny. It was really funny. And, my vision of slam is not what slam is considered today. So,
yeah, because now it's a whole other.
It's a whole
thing,
right? It's a whole thing, and it has nothing to do with, what I think slam is.
So,
and that's no slight. That's just not. That's not my vision.
Yeah.
That wasn't the band's vision, is that, the Speedy Blast, stop, riff, Speedy Blast, stop, riff, that's not our vision. Our vision was constant flow and constant hooky riff changes that of course we had parts where you stop and there's the big slam riff and all that stuff. Of course. But it's the grooves it's the grooves that get people. That's what gets people moving is the grooves. It's not, I mean, people get into the slam riffs, of course, but it's that constant groove. You can't sit still.
Mm-hmm. It's like, it just awakens something. You have to move.
It's super primal, you know, and people will call it simplistic, and that's fine. I don't mind that term. But Black Sabbath was primal too, and they're my favorite band, and their riffs rule pretty much over everybody. So
yeah, Tony.
If I'm chasing Iommi, which I am, I think I'm in pretty good company.
Yeah, sick.
So I'm not like I don't chase shredders. I don't, all our guitar solos are bluesy guitar solos because that's what I like, and I'm an old man. And that's what I grew up. I grew up in the '70s, so that's what I cut my teeth on musically.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. I'm a pentatonic guy, and that's my zone. I love it. I love old blues musicians. I love all that stuff, and I like it. I get a lot of compliments, and I'm happy about it. I get a lot of compliments from people saying, "Wow, the solo in solo in Focus is awesome. It's like a rock and roll solo," and I'm like, "Thanks, man." I'm like. Yeah, because that's what it should be. At least that's how I think. If I put a shreddy solo over it, there'd be the emotion would be sucked out of it.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned Black Flag, and was the term slam dancing a term in the '80s?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And even I remember I got a I don't have it anymore but I had a great Circle Jerks T-shirt. Where, it's this drawing of a guy in all flannel and all this, and he's in the typical slam dance pose, like almost like the DRI pose,
Yeah.
That's how you did it back then.
Yeah, like that, right?
Yeah. So I had that T-shirt, when I was a kid.
Sick.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what I looked like, except for for the blonde hair.
Actually, is that you? It could be.
Do the
Slam. Is that a real shirt, you think? Do the Slam?
That I don't know, but that's what they called it. That's what they called it back then. It was slam dancing.